Well, hello, Call It Crew.
Hi, Call It Crew. We've decided today's episode, we're just gonna jump right in.
We're gonna go into it. We got excited about this topic.
I don't even care about your week, Jess.
Nope, don't care about your week. I mean, I hope it was good, but I don't care about what happened in it.
Don't care. Don't need to know.
Yep.
Hope the family good.
This topic, I have to say, sometimes I just, with the close group of friends or family, I just sort of throw out some topics that we've been talking about. And this one lit up a dinner table the other night. The idea of talking about, are you ready for it?
Yeah, of course.
Competition within friendships.
Well, this one can get spicy.
It can get real spicy. People have feelings. People also have feelings about competition in general, like where competition exists and where is it healthy for competition to exist and where is it not healthy, not helpful, unwanted. And friendship would be one of them.
You know what's funny is my very first friendship memory is from elementary school, and understanding the dynamics between, and I was young, like 8, understanding the dynamics of that friendship, and even though I wouldn't have had a word for it, was so toxic at the time. But I remember thinking, this is not a real friendship. This was my best friend in elementary school. And I remember every time that I got something good, I would be punished for it. She would silent treatment me and exclude me. And I was found it very, very confusing. And then the truth is that there are versions of this that still happen in adulthood.
Yeah.
Have you had friends in your life that have been competitive with you that have actually ruined the friendship from being competitive? Soured it?
No. And during this, during the talking about this subject, it was very interesting how differently people feel about it who've had real life experience with it. So no, I have not. I have not had friendships where competition was an aspect or part of the personality of our friendship. And it's funny because I am a competitive person. I like to do well. It's important to me. It's important to me to perform well. It's important for me to do well, to have studied, to have done the thing, to have done the research, to do the work. It's very important to me. And yet I have never in my life wanted to compare how I do on something or how well I do something or don't do something. I've never wanted to compare it to a friend, and I've not had friends compete with me in close friendship. Do I have friends that maybe were, on the periphery or, silly about this, that, or the other? Probably, but not friendships that meant something to me.
Now I want to ask you one more question because I don't like to talk about it, but Jess's very, 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 very best friend, whatever, is Sasha Alexander, who is a wonderful actress. You guys are similar ages. You've even talked about when you were younger, and I believe you met because you were auditioning against each other, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you two been up against each other for the same role? And has one of you ever gotten it over the other?
Interestingly enough, because for those who don't know, I think that there are so many things about us that are similar. Even we absolutely look like we could be sisters. No, we were not up for the same things. And so we were not in competition with each other for jobs.
Also, I feel like at this point, you guys love each other so much.
Yeah.
That if of anybody else getting a job over you, that's when I feel like you love someone because you're like, if I don't get it, I want you to get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's like, if I don't, you better get it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, definitely. I mean, I also think that there's different points in your career where you're up or down. That's just having a career, or having a long career, is that sometimes you're doing well, sometimes you're not. And we've had different moments where she's been crushing it and I might not have been, or, there's still just total, complete, allegiance to, friendship and connection and support and all that. No, never. One time now I'm remembering. Okay. So one time I was up against, look at the word I just chose. Interesting. This is how competition is born. I was up for the same role, as Carrie, and Carrie and I had just done a movie together in Calgary where we were in the middle of nowhere. It was a Western, no makeup, no fuss, no frills, early wake ups underneath like whirlybird rain machines. We were like frontier women. We were in it.
Yeah.
And I didn't know her before, and we became very fast friends and very close friends. And I just adore her. She's just one of the best. I love me some Carrie Russell. And so we do the show and we finish, and then we go back to, she was living in New York. I was living in Los Angeles, and both of us went back to not having jobs. And, she and I both were interested in doing theater. And not even having talked to each other, we both end up being up for this Neil LaBute play that's going to be at the Lucille Lortel Theater in New York City. And we make it to, it's between she and I. We make it to the end. And so I call her, she calls me, however it is. And we know that we have to go to this casting office. We're auditioning right after each other. She went first, I went second. But we decided that we were going to dinner that night, no matter what. And it's my memory that we decided that whoever got the part had to pay for dinner. So
that's cute. Did you find out that day?
We actually did. We did. And I think we knew that we were going to find out. Or maybe we had a contingency plan. I don't know. But anyways, I get there. Thankfully, she'd already gone in. But I heard it was one of those audition rooms where the walls were super thin, and I could hear her whole audition. And I was like, oh man, I'm like pacing out in the hallway, trying not to, listen.
Did you change if you heard it? And cause she's a fantastic actress, if you heard it and you were like, this is amazing. Is there anything that made you suddenly go, well, I should play it like that a little bit?
Yeah, just do exactly what she's doing.
It's so similar. I need to change mine up.
Yeah.
Did it throw you in any way?
You remembered this. It's at that point, again, you're not really in your body. Your nerves have taken over and you're not processing. I just remember her being done, and the character was really hot-headed. So there's a lot of screaming. So I really did hear every single word. But I went in after her, and I was just proud of myself. I did what I came to do. And we got a phone call a little bit of time later, and she got the part. And it's not to say I wasn't disappointed, because this is a big distinction, right? Not feeling your feelings would not be honest. I was very disappointed. I really wanted that part, and she got the part. But I wasn't upset with her. I wasn't upset that she got it. I was just disappointed that I didn't. And they felt very, very separate to me. So we absolutely then went out to dinner in downtown New York City and had a fantastic meal. And she went on to absolutely crush that show. And interestingly enough, just to file in the column of things actually really do work out, since I say it so often, she opened up that show. It was a huge success. They extended the show, and she couldn't do the extension. And the director called me and said, will you do the second part of the show? And so we both got to do the show. It was one of my favorite jobs I've ever had in my whole life. It was so formative in so many ways. And I love that show. Loved that show. So yeah, but we were for each other. We were absolutely for each other.
I think that what I hear a lot, obviously I asked you about that because I feel like in our particular world, we are forced to go, and the verbiage is up against each other. That is what you say, right?
Yeah.
But I hear a lot, actually, that there's a lot of competitiveness between people within relationships. So your relationship versus mine. Am I getting engaged? Are you getting engaged? Mm-hmm. Now we're getting married around the same time. Mm-hmm. What are you doing with your babies? What's your wedding like? I hear that a lot. I have a couple friends that kind of got married around the same time as each other. And I don't even know if they were aware of it, but it felt like there was a little bit of one-upping, bachelorette party, like, what are they doing? I'm going to do something different. I'm going to do something similar, but like kind of, and so I don't know if it's like the time and you're, that you're getting married, but I think that I've experienced that between friends. It's very tricky, and you're happy that the friends are happy for each other, but I feel like it can get a little competitive, and in so many ways, when you have a friend that is competitive with you, I think that it can really sour a friendship.
Yeah, for sure.
Because then you start to hold, when you're very aware of this, and again, this is what happened to me in elementary school. I started to be very aware of not sharing my wins or trying to sort of dull them in order to save that friendship.
Yeah.
And that will never work. It'll kill us. It might kill it slowly, but it'll kill a friendship.
Yeah. 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 So, okay. I know what I think my answer is, but this is something that came up, and I think that it's a really deciding factor in whether people feel competitive or not. Exactly in what you were just saying, which is like relationships. Because, I mean, let's be honest, you can't control when someone gets engaged or when they don't, or when they get pregnant or when they don't, or if they make money or they don't, right? These are things that are completely outside of, your power in any way, shape, or form. But what I think is interesting is that when you have someone, I think mindset matters. I think that people who experience the scarcity mindset, like they often feel they don't have enough, or they wish they had more, or the world doesn't treat them favorably, or it's just another day in which they don't get what they want. If they don't feel confident, if they don't feel enough, if they don't feel worthy, if they don't feel like they have that sense of belonging, they, in my observation, become competitive. The people who feel like they do have enough, that they do feel confident, that they're exactly where they're supposed to be, that they're in the relationship that they want, that they work for, I don't find to be as competitive.
No, but I will say that what we're dealing with now that me and you did not deal with growing up, and I think it's so hard, is that social media feels like it's set up to be competitive. It almost feels like the algorithm is, I have this, what do you have? You have this, what do I have? Right? Yep. So even though you love your friend, now it's like they're posting the picture of the giant diamond on the hand or the new job, and now I get to travel, and even I find myself, people I don't know, I'm like, oh man, I want to, where are they? I don't even know them. I don't care. I'm fine. And I'm like, wait, would they have that? I need that necklace. Yeah, I need that.
Wait,
when can I get that?
You're so right.
And it's we're being fed competition.
You're so right.
So when you're following your friends, it's like the algorithms like compete, post, compete, who's winning, who's losing, who has this, who has that. It sucks. And we didn't grow up with that.
But again, I mean, okay, I see that completely. I experience that more with total strangers. So I remember, no, you're going to have to fact check here because I don't, you know me, I don't have the names that come straight to the tip of the tongue. Okay. So it's Golden Globes time. I'm watching it. Taylor Swift is there. Obviously she has my attention. And
obviously
Kelly Teller, Miles Teller's wife, is, I don't know, and maybe in the pictures with her, they came together. Somehow there's Kelly Teller. And I had not known who she was until that moment. I go to Instagram because I'm like, wow, she's
like, who's
so
that
beautiful.
Friend?
So who is she? What? Yeah, exactly.
No, I was like, who's that friend?
Competitive. Why
almost
was it
like,
me?
Almost like I'm part of the circle and I'm wondering who she's getting close to.
Exactly. I need to know. So cut to, and by the way, it's funny because I was explaining this to my daughters because they were saying to me, another case for Instagram, that we want to have Instagram, blah, 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 blah. And I said, no, this is why you cannot. This is why it's so dangerous.
Yeah.
I go looking up Kelly Teller and I spend 15 minutes on Instagram doing a deep dive into Kelly Teller's life.
Yeah.
And by the end of this 15-minute dive, I have convinced myself that everything I have is nothing compared to what Kelly Teller has. I am nothing.
So amazing.
I'm not even kind of cute. I don't go on any vacations.
No.
I don't bring any cute clothes on vacation. By the way, Kelly brings beautiful clothes on vacation. I just want to shout out Kelly. You're crushing it. You're doing vacation very well.
Yeah, she's worthy of a deep dive.
All of it. I was just convinced of it. And only because I don't know, because other people have told me this or I've learned this lesson. Once I unplugged from the Instagram machine, once I unplugged from the matrix and I woke myself up and slapped myself around a little bit.
Yeah.
Did I come back to, no. Kelly can have all that Kelly has and be awesome. And so can I.
Yeah.
But what Kelly has nothing to do with what I have.
Yes, 100%. But this is what I'm saying with the
competition.
algorithm feed is not helping these friendships.
When you're talking about competition in friendships where someone might be feeling like they're doing better or might be perceived of as doing better, and someone else might be struggling, I think it's important to remember the whole two things can be true thing.
Yes.
Which is that your friend can be doing really well and you can be really happy for them. And your life can be challenging and you can be disappointed with where you're at. They don't cancel each other out. And when you're in a strong friendship, you can say that to a friend. Like, I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited you just got engaged. I am so excited. I love your person. Your person is great for you. I see a very happy life ahead. There's going to be so many exciting things that you start planning. And I'm not there yet. So my feelings about where I am will sometimes creep into things. And I want you to just know that that's where I'm at. And it doesn't have anything to do with you. So it might come up and I don't want it to, I want to be in conversation with you about it because I don't want you to ever perceive my feelings about where I'm at as how I feel about where you're at. It doesn't take away from my happiness for you. It doesn't take away from how awesome it is that what's happening for you is happening. It just is where I'm at. And I need to be able to have the two things be true, which is that I'm super happy for you and I'm having a hard time.
I think that's so amazing. By the way, I would appreciate that in a friendship so much more than someone not even having that conversation with me, even if it's a hard conversation, and just swallowing those feelings. Because if I love you, I want to know that too. I want to know, like, she's feeling not great right now. She's feeling insecure about shit, you know?
Yeah.
I think that communication is what makes friendships really solid and beautiful. And because, by the way, at some point it'll flip. It always does.
It always does.
And then you've opened up the door to have that kind of correspondence with your buddy. And you can be like, you know what? I feel kind of shitty right now too. I'm feeling this way now. And you have a baby and I'm trying and I love it, but it's hard for me. I love you. I just want you to know that that's where those feelings are coming from.
Yes. Especially within, I do think, female to female friendships, because there's this really old and gross idea that women should be in competition with women more than anything, or that there is this idea that because I'm a woman, I'm going to be competitive with another woman for the things that she has or doesn't have. And I think, I think it happens a lot it can happen in friendship. I think it happens a lot in business and in work, right? Like when you hear a lot of people say, like when a woman's really successful, that, she might have a harder time in friendships because of her success. Like, fuck that. How awesome is it to have a friend who's successful? How awesome is it to be able to be with someone who's excited about what they do? Hopefully that would be contagious. Hopefully,
absolutely,
whatever she's doing right, that's putting her in that position is going to rub off on me, is going to be inspiring to me, is going to motivate me, is going to make me understand that absolutely there's only 24 hours in a day, but somehow she's figuring out a 25th. I want your secrets, I think that is, ultimately exactly the best thing that can come from friendship is that kind of motivation and that inspiration. And I get really, really irritated and tired of hearing people try to say things about women that are like that we're in competition with each other or that we want to take each other down. I just think that that's just fucking nuts.
It is crazy, but I think it comes from that place. And I know people talk about the seat at the table, but I think that we have been told that there's like one or two seats at the table for women.
I know. Scarcity.
And so it's like, well, she got the seat. Is there a seat left? And that's bullshit.
Yeah.
We're going to fucking build out that table. You can have all the, you know what I mean?
Exactly. And it's that zero sum game mindset. It's that there's a winner and a loser, that someone wins the place at the table. So there's no room for anyone else. Well, guess what? News alert. Getting that seat at the table might mean that person can make room for another chair to come up to the table. Maybe there's going to need to be company there. There's going to need to be perspective there. There's going to need to be understanding and, again, community. I mean, I find it so upsetting when people get into that one up, one down mindset where it's like, one person's above and one person's below. It's like, no, we are all in relationship with each other. And it may certainly be, you know, a journey, but you're all going to go up and you're all going to go down. And the way that you weather that is super, super important.
Yeah.
By the way, I was a big fan also, just again, in competition, it just reminded me of something. I do remember I actually made a couple friends in audition waiting rooms, but I remember one time there was a part that I didn't get and I did not know the girl who got it, but I actually made a point. We had a friend in common. I made a point of reaching out and congratulating her, and we ended up becoming friends. And I think, again, like sometimes and it actually took away my bad feeling. I didn't feel as bad about not getting it when I ended up becoming friends with her. I was actually happy for her. So I don't know if that's worth anything, but.
Okay. Is there such thing as a competition between friends? I'm going to be honest. And I think no.
I said no too. I don't think so either. I think there's a time and place for competition. It's not in friendship. I mean, I think I'm going to actually be as bold as to say just that. There is a place for competition, but it's not in friendship.
No.
And if you feel that there is...
simply.
I think it's pretty simple. I do. I think it's actually... I don't always think that it is. You know me. Shades of gray. But I think that this one's pretty simple. Okay, so Heather has written in and she says, my best friend of 15 years and I both had babies around the same time. She has her baby in competition with mine. Every time I tell her my baby did something, she one-ups my baby. I don't want to throw away this friendship, but it's making me mental, and I don't want our kids to grow up competing. Help! Oh, it's serious talk time.
Oh, this is hard. And the truth is my immediate instinct is that her friend is insecure. You know,
again, scarcity
completely comes from insecurity, but that's difficult.
Well, that's why I'm saying serious talk time. You gotta have a serious talk. I mean, I think we gotta sit down. I love you to the ends of the earth. 15 years of friendship. I could not love you more. We are so lucky that we get to have children at the same time and we get to experience this and be together in this. And I think that things have gone a little sideways and I want to kind of hit the reset button. I love the reset button. You know I do. I want to hit the reset button and I don't want to talk about what my baby does in comparison to your baby or vice versa. I want for us to bring our experiences to each other and I want to talk about them, but I don't want to feel like it's a competition. I want to feel like we're just in it together. I think you can name it. I think you name it.
I think you do. Here's the response though to that. This is how I would play this conversation in my head. The response though is you're saying what your baby did and I'm just saying what my baby did and you're taking it that way. And so it gets complicated.
Well, but that's when you just have to say this is how it feels to me because no one can argue with how it feels. It feels to me like competition.
And I think that you can even say to like soften it a little bit. I don't think you're meaning to do this.
Yeah.
And because I know you love me, I know you love my baby. When I'm talking about my baby, sometimes I just want to talk about the baby and it not necessarily feel a little bit competitive. And sometimes I don't think you're realizing it or it feels to me like it gets a little competitive. I just want us to be so careful of that because I think it can, not help friendships. I mean, listen, she's worried about the babies growing up together and now they're on sports teams or now they're in school together and it's like, what grade did your baby kid get? And I understand that. That's really hard. I have to say that when I first had my Hayden, I do not feel this way about Lucas, but you're given all the milestones when it's your first baby, right? And I was paranoid about the milestones. And so it wasn't even coming from a place of competition. I just needed to hear that my baby was like doing okay. So it's like, when did your baby talk? When did your baby walk? And so it may not even be coming from a place of competition. It may just be her talking out loud, reaffirming that her baby is also on the right track. Mm-hmm, do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's hard. I mean, by the way, your hormones are fucking crashing.
Yeah.
It's a lot, but I think if you guys have been best friends for this long, you're able to have this conversation and you bring it up because the worst thing you can do in a friendship is let it fester. Because
Yeah.
then it explodes.
Yeah. And again, I don't think you can misstep when you have that much history. And
No.
I think that there's sometimes we just have to go headlong into it. Again, the only way out is through. And you just name it and say, like, this is how I feel. And that might be wild to hear. And I'm sure it might also, help you understand how I'm feeling.
So on the subject of competing, because it really does happen. And by the way, I don't know, are they really your friends? I don't know. They listed the 10 signs, Jessica, that your friend is secretly competing with you. And I'm going to read some of them. They seem to delight in your misfortune. No.
Well, that's
not even
that's
a
not a
friend.
sign. That's a bye.
That's a goodbye. They copy your every move. Are we like they've skinned you? They're wearing you? Like, how extreme is this? Single white female? Because by the way, anytime I see Jessica, I want to steal all of her everything and
All the things.
copy it.
Yeah, I want your hair. I mean, again, Kelly Teller. You're my real life Kelly Teller.
I'll send it to you in the yes. They don't celebrate your victories. Not a friendship. Get rid of it.
Yeah, go through this list again, because I have to say this list is really just like the list of things notched. This is how you know that they suck.
This is how you know they suck. Ready? They downplay your accomplishments. They try to one up you. They brag in your presence. They try to keep tabs on you. This is actually a stalking situation.
Yeah,
They attempt to sabotage your success. They dwell on the negative aspects of your life. And the last thing is they kill you. I'm kidding. Yeah. The last thing is they try to discredit you in front of other people. Well, I think the problem with this article is that they said 10 signs you're a friend. This is not a friend. This is a psychopath. This is a psychopath, and you need a restraining order.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, moving on. That was not helpful.
Yeah, that was not helpful. Moving on. Okay, so do you want to go into anonymous?
Let's do anonymous. My parents got divorced 2 months ago. We found out my dad has had a girlfriend on the side for a while. My mom is devastated, and they are both competing for mine and my brother's good side. It's very awkward. I feel betrayed, and it's making me scared of a romantic relationship in the future. Any advice on how to handle it?
Oof.
Oof.
I'm sorry. This is a terrible situation.
This is hard. You know what, though? I think we have the same advice. You got to sit down and have a really frank conversation and just say, like, I don't know if you know that you're doing this. This is very painful for us, and there's competitiveness, and it's not helping. And you pull them aside individually, I think, is what you do.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with that. And also, I would say, in terms of feeling scared for your own romantic relationship in the future, I would be very careful to make sure that you understand that that's them.
Yes.
You're in charge of you. And sometimes having a front row seat to the devastation that can roll out after betrayal is a pretty good cautionary tale. It's a pretty much a really good indication and a really good real life experience that that's not something that you want to be a part of. So I actually think that sometimes these really horrible and very tough things to bear witness to can help make us better and help us understand, what the real consequences to that kind of behavior are.
I like to think, and this is something I'm working through in one of my many therapy sessions, that you don't inherit your parents' history. And that is something I'm learning, because if you took two people that absolutely should not have been together, probably not even have shared a bus seat, it's my mom and dad. They really should not have been together. It should have, I don't even know. Maybe even friends. And they were together for a long time. And I have learned that you don't inherit like the mistakes of your parents. You don't. Mm-mm. It didn't make me more afraid of getting divorced. It actually made me a lot pickier when it came to picking a partner, because I
love it. We get to hear you in your own voice. Hit it.
Hi, Camilla. Hi, Jessica. My name is Kush. I'm 27. I am an Indian American gay man who's also a huge fan of both of you. So I just moved, actually, for work to the suburbs of Philadelphia. from New York City. I was living in Manhattan, and I'm having a really hard time making friends. Like, I don't think enough people talk about how hard it is to make friends as an adult, and I'm really kind of just struggling to meet people and just connect with people. So any advice that you two have on how to make friends as like a young professional be very appreciated. Thank you very much, and love you both. Hope you're doing well.
Okay, number one, I want to be his friend. I just heard his voice and I would like to be his friend.
Yeah, Kush, you're part of this community, so you have everybody here listening.
So so count us as your friends. You know what it made me think of? That I actually, correct me if I'm mistaken, I feel like it might have started last year. So Bumble has a friendship component. So you can go on and hook up with some friends, especially in a new locale.
It's called Bumble BFF or Bumble Friendship Mode. And you can seek out friendships in the city because, by the way, I agree. It's really hard to make friends as an adult.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that that's obviously a very practical way to go about it, which I think is right there at your fingertips and could be something you just do right away. In the longer game aspect of it, I'm a big fan of listen, as long as you're not just sitting in your apartment, if you're going out and doing the things that you love doing, if you look up and don't look at your phone, so don't Bumble BFF or Bumble Friendship Mode in this moment. If you are engaging with your environment and you're looking around and everything else, you're likely going to find people who like to do the same things as you. So I don't know what that is for you, right? It might be going to the movies. It might be, I'm going to sound like the oldest fucking lady in the world right now. Just go to the ladies. If you go to your local needlepoint
shop. Go to the
shop.
movies and talk to the person next to you. Strike up a conversation in the middle of, Saving Private Ryan. How are you doing? Do you have any friends? I
can't breathe.
I'm not, I don't like to disagree with you, Jess, but I feel like I'm just trying to figure out the whole movie theater friendship part.
Also, you shouldn't talk in a movie.
It's actually, I'm gonna call it what it is. I think that's the worst fucking place.
It's the worst advice. The worst. Maybe
banging on about
maybe
in a movie theater,
in line at getting some popcorn.
Go to the library where you're supposed to be really quiet and just start chatting to everybody.
Oh, well, then I don't know. Maybe we don't have the answer for this.
Kush is like, what the heck is this advice?
Okay, let's go back to the app.
Okay, no, but listen, other than the app, I do agree with you in that you can find like a sip and paint or something like that that's in your area. Go have a glass of wine, paint. It feels a little bit more community based. There's also cooking classes in every city where you go, you learn to cook together. I feel like that also at the same time as being with other people. And I feel like sometimes doing an activity makes it feel less pressure of like,
Yeah. Like a parallel experience.
Like a friend date. Yes, exactly right. That's what I would do.
I also think that if you got into obviously gyms are great places to meet people or classes, yoga classes, Pilates
well,
classes.
hang on though. The gym that's gonna be a controversial take.
Why?
Online, I see people that are very unhappy
when people talk to you at the gym.
At the gym.
Oh.
At the gym. They're filming other people trying to talk to them.
What?
Yeah. Kush, you could end up going viral because of all of Capshaw's suggestions. They're like, this fucking guy talking in the movie theater and then he's getting filmed at the gym. No, I want you to keep going because this is really entertaining.
Let me just give her more fuel for the fire.
Listen, also, you have to be tricky, but Jessica and I met in the workplace, and sometimes your workplace buddies are great. And it's like, hey, this is a really rough day. Is anyone available to go grab a drink? Or just let's go to lunch right now. Anyone want to get lunch and strike up conversations in the workplace? Because those are definitely people in your world every single day.
Yeah. And I think that you might just have to I think bottom line, and you're already there, you have to want it. And you have to know that getting it means leaving your apartment or leaving your comfort zone and asking someone to go do something or whatever. And also, by the way, you're not going to always, get the right person right away. So that doesn't mean stop trying. Just keep going. Remember, I didn't even like Camilla when I met her. Keep trying. Keep trying. Just if you work a little bit harder, you'll start to like her.
Yeah. Might take months for someone to even like you. Just keep going.
Keep going. See, I pushed through with Camilla and it's all paid off.
Oh my God. They might find you absolutely intolerable. Just keep at it.
You'll get to some kind of gold at some point.
I also think that don't forget that there's other people feeling, it's not because it feels very lonely. I had this when I moved to Los Angeles. I felt very lonely and it feels really vulnerable to have that feeling. And I would go to lunch sometimes and I would see groups of girlfriends and I would just stare at them like, whoa, what's that like? And I'd be by myself and it was hard. But there are so many people feeling that way. There are people moving all the time as adults. And so you kind of have to shake off the vulnerability of it in order to get out there.
Yeah.
On this subject, someone asked, with both of us being on a TV show together, did we ever feel competition with each other? And this can happen in shows, and this can definitely happen in big ensemble shows, in that people feel like, well, maybe I want more storyline. I'm saying one line this episode, or this person's more of the focus. I think that, first of all, I have to say that I never felt competition with Jessica Capshaw, but I think it's also because when I got on the show, she played Arizona Robbins. There was no part of, I couldn't even compete. What was the point? There was no... she was one of the most beloved characters ever. They were so different. And I just did not feel that way at all ever with you.
No.
I really honestly haven't felt that way on the show.
No. And I think I do have to say, I think that I have had that at work, not on Grey's, on a different show. I worked with a woman who was incredibly competitive with me, like nasty competitive. We would just do nasty things. Like you'd get out of makeup and she'd look at you and be like, "Are you done? Are you going back in, or you're done?" Yeah, no, my makeup's done, asshole.
No.
It was just like things she could do to make you feel insecure. That's on her. And I did kind of know it then, so I was grateful to not take it personally again. Don't ever take it personally. I never felt competitive with you. I do think when you're on a show or when you're in a regular job, when someone is, got more to do, more responsibility, more chances to shine, if you will, if that's how you're oriented. Yeah, for sure. That can be, you can be aware of it. I think that's what I think that I feel the most in friendships. Again, two things can be true. You can be getting more storylines. And I can be disappointed about that and be happy for you. You know what I mean? Like one has nothing to do with the other.
Yeah, it's the only other time the only time I felt jealous on our show is when someone's been given just the best storyline and you're like, oh my God, I would love to play that. Like it comes from an artistic thing. You're so happy for them because you're like, this is going to be great TV and they're going to have a blast. But you can't help artistically being like, oh, I would love to, I'd love to get in on this storyline, but that's life and it happens. I actually think being on a big ensemble show is fantastic because it ends up being very humbling.
Okay. I'm going to leave you. I'm going to leave you with this one. Are you ready?
Yeah.
You just
tell me.
Sparked my memory.
Okay, go.
I'm going to take you back. To check my facts. I think it's about 2010.
Okay.
And we get word that there's a musical episode on Grey's Anatomy.
Was not part of this. I was not part of this episode.
We are going. Yeah. Yes. We're going to have a musical episode.
Let me guess. You wanted all the solos, Jessica Capshaw. This was your episode to shine.
This was my time to shine. In my mind, all of my musical stylings in the shower.
Yes. Yeah. Did you bring your own mic to the auditions?
In all the ways. I was going to be discovered. So we go to this coach who's going to sing with us a little bit and like see what we're capable of before they give the song selections. You're already laughing. I don't know why you're already laughing.
because I'm realizing you've never told me this story. So I'm so in. Okay, go.
We get sent to the coach, which is definitely, looking back now, she's there to judge. She's there to judge what our aptitude is, what we can do, what we cannot do.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling confident. Again, I'm feeling like, yeah, sure, I can do the scales. We can la 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 la. We're gonna tra la la la. We're gonna do all the things. It's gonna be great. And we go, and then I remember waiting a while because then there were the song selections, and then everybody gets, we get the script, and in like bold, it was when we would sing, and so you could like skim through the script to see your name and what was in bold because that meant you were singing.
Yeah.
Real fans of the show know how much I sung in that episode.
How much did you sing?
Very little. I sang very little.
Were you in a coma? Did they put you in a coma?
No, I was
on
the coma. I was not. Callie was in the coma. And Kyler Lee sang like a bird. And I mean, had so many beautiful songs. I mean, the 2 a.m. She has such a beautiful voice, and she crushed it. And again, the two things can be true. I can have wanted to have the kind of voice that was going to get those songs. Yeah. And I was happy for her. But I do remember being like, like, that's cool. I'm only singing those two sentences in that one song. That's cool.
Did you have a song in mind where you're like, if I could get this solo?
No, because I didn't know what songs we were doing.
Chasing Cars.
Well, we all sang on that. That was like a whole, we all, that didn't count. I mean, the real like solos is what I was talking about. Yeah. Yeah. I'm really happy for everyone who sang for a lot of time on the show.
There's still time, Jess. I feel like there's a musical in your future.
Yes.
There's still time. Don't give up on that dream.
Nope. I'm going to come from abundance. There's more in the universe for me. That was a song.